Hi, Michelle here. Thank you for watching From Surviving to Thriving. Today I wanted to talk about how important it is to really analyze what kind of people you surround yourself with as far as friends go. Friends are like elevators. They either bring us up in life or they bring us down. They either help us be better people or they change us for the worse. And so it's really important to analyze what kind of people we're allowing ourselves to spend time with, especially if we've been in an intimate relationship with a narcissist and we're out of that, or maybe we've cut off ties with family members that are narcissistic. The worst thing we would want to do would be fall into a friendship with somebody that can cause us the same destructive emotional damage. So I was thinking of a few red flags, and I wanted to share them with you guys. The first one that came to mind was how the narcissistic friend moves really fast as far as securing their friendship with you. I know the intimate narcissist, when they're in an intimate relationship, we call it that they go through that love bombing stage where they're just showering you with praise. And the narcissistic friend acts the same way. They're showering you with expressions like, wow, you're my best friend. I never had a friend like you. I feel like I could tell you anything. I feel so close to you. I'm so glad we're friends. You're always there for me. These are things that they tell you. And if you are codependent, if you are battling with a low self-esteem, or let's say you've just gotten out of something difficult and you're not really completely at your strongest emotionally, that friend love bombing can be really powerful. It can make you feel special. It kind of plays on your own need for feeling accepted and loved and close to someone. What happens, though, if you're not aware, is you get sucked into a relationship where your sole purpose is pretty much to admire this other person and give and do whatever they want and need. It becomes a very one-sided friendship. That would be the second red flag that I would mention, would be if you really looked at the relationship, as good as they're making you feel by telling you all of these things, if you look at their actions and their words, there's some kind of discrepancy. They're saying how close you are, but the only time you're really close is when you're doing or giving for them. You always seem to be the one that's listening to them and their problems, being compassionate, being there for that person, giving them what they need. But when you need something, that person doesn't have the ability to be there, even if it's just to listen. If you are sharing your problems, you notice that the person kind of listens in a very passive way. You don't really feel any kind of real empathy, just the person listening. And be aware that if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, or even if it's just a friendship, sharing any of those weaknesses that you do can and will be thrown in your face in the future once the relationship progresses, because the narcissist cannot stay in the love bombing stage for long. They really need something from you. They need narcissistic supply. They need you to worship them. They need you to think that they're amazing. They need you to constantly give so much. The thing is that most people eventually kind of wake up a little bit and realize, hey, I exist too. I'm a real person too. I have accomplishments as well. And when the narcissist realizes that, there's a sudden shift in the friendship. And suddenly, they're either off with somebody else, they have a new best friend, or they don't return your phone calls anymore. Sometimes it's almost overnight. You don't even realize what happened or what went wrong. And that's exactly what the narcissist wants. So what happens is you get stuck in this spinning thought of, what did I do wrong? Why did things change? We were so close and I don't get it. And the narcissist dangles that before you so that you're constantly trying to make this friendship work. And they're constantly not allowing it, and then kind of making you feel responsible for it. It's funny how, as I'm talking out loud about it right now, it reminds me so much of an intimate relationship, how the narcissist thinks. The love bombing, the sucking you in, the getting you to trust them just to devalue you. The narcissist is then getting supply from you through your pain. They got it at first through your admiration, and now they're getting it through their power to hurt you, to see you a mess. That's how it makes them feel powerful. When you get sucked into that, it can be extremely confusing. So it's really important to be aware of anyone that swoops in and wants to be your best friend from one day to the next. Someone that's always praising, overly praising and being close, kind of sucking you in, and yet at the same time, it seems like it's a one-sided relationship, as well as the fact that for some reason, if you happen to disagree with this person, there's something in the air where you could tell the narcissist isn't happy, but it doesn't make sense, and so you're always kind of bewildered. Those are some red flags to watch out for. Something else that I realized that a narcissistic friend does, and again, as I'm thinking about it, I'm remembering that my ex did the same thing with me, is how they would always talk negatively about others, and you would have to kind of agree all the time. The narcissist is always one-upping themselves. And so even when the narcissistic friend starts to talk nicely about somebody else, it always ends with them somehow slipping something negative in, even if it's subtly done. For example, if you guys were out with some friends and they were great people and you mentioned, yeah, wow, so-and-so, they look so happy together. You know, they look like they have a really nice relationship. That's awesome. And you're giving a compliment to someone other than your narcissistic friend. It'll be met with something like, yeah, they are, really happy together. That's great. But did you know that a year ago this happened? Or I heard that this happened, but I hope they're happy. It's like a really subtle way of slipping in a negative thought so that you now view those people in a different light. The problem is if you don't share the narcissist's opinion of others, they turn on you. They can't handle you not having the exact same thought pattern, the exact same feelings as them. You're not allowed to have your own opinions, even in a friendship with a narcissist. So if you notice those things, please be aware that you could be in a relationship that's very toxic. There's nothing wrong with setting boundaries with your friends, and there's nothing wrong with making changes to your circle of friends if the people around you are not building you up.